welcome to What Catholic School Didn't Teach You, where we discuss the messiness and complexities of the Catholic faith and topics that we oftentimes avoid. My name is Katie.
And I am Jillian.
Welcome to our last episode of the season.
This is Crazy Pants.
I
Season
know.
3. What a journey.
Season three about to be in the books.
Yeah.
What have you learned
Wild.
this season, Jillian?
What have I learned? That's a great question.
I haven't learned much. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah. That's why I was like, interesting. Well, honestly, I learned that don't overthink it. I feel
Mm,
like the ones that we just kind of let the topics come organically and don't do like a ton of legwork come out like really great,
yeah,
and
it's
we
funny
let
when
the
we leave room
spirit
for the spirit, you know?
like weird. Weird how that works.
And by leaving room for the spirit, that's me dressing up us being unprepared.
What? I don't know what you're saying.
Unprepared. I just left room for the spirit.
Exactly. Exactly.
How are
So
you today, Jill?
I am good. I have been at my job for exactly a year
Hmm,
today, which is wild. I cannot believe it's been a year. I
crazy.
feel like I had my like year review. And I feel like in like the best way that I've like been there for 10 years. Like it just
Mm,
feels like it has been way more than a year. Um, so that's really cool. I really
that's a good
enjoy
feeling.
that. Yeah, and just reflecting on how much I've grown over this
Hmm.
year. It's like going into it feeling like I had no leg to stand on
Mm,
and was so underqualified and like how on earth am I here right now to feeling like I've hit my stride and feeling great about the work that I'm doing and really grateful to be part of the team and stuff. So it's been cool. It's been a cool journey. I was actually on another podcast. My job has their own podcast, so it's if you just go on YouTube, I think it's everywhere, but I think if you just look up St. John Vianney Center, they have a pod, it's called Journey to Thrive. There we go.
cool.
Sometimes the brain works. And it was a spiritual care week this past week. So,
Mm.
um, and that's my title. So all hospitals celebrate it. And since we're a hospital, we joined in on that. So this is the second year that we've celebrated it. My like not official first day, but the first time I went to work of last year was the last day. And I was there. They like let me be in the picture and I got to eat pizza. But then this year, I actually got to like help plan things. And I was on a podcast about like the legacy of spiritual care at St. John Vianney, which was really
Ooh,
cool. So if you ever want to know what spiritual care is, go check it out.
yeah.
But how are you, Katie?
I'm good. It's October still.
Yeah, not for long.
And also,
Almost
yeah, it's
November.
almost over. I feel about October the way you feel about your job. It's like we've been here for 10 years.
Yeah, October has definitely felt like it took a while.
Yeah, I don't know why.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's weird to be like getting ready for the holidays already and
Yeah.
like, making our Thanksgiving plans and talking to students about their Thanksgiving plans and yeah, yeah, it's kind of
Does
it.
are you revealing on the pod what Kit's Halloween costume is?
Oh. Oh, that's true. It is Halloween. Um,
Because I also don't know what it is. Selfishly, would love to
well, we
know.
did we had like a little pseudo Halloween party at like the very beginning of
Yes, I
October.
remember seeing
And
pictures.
my husband and Kit and I were Luke, Lorelai, and
Yes,
Rory
which
from
I
Gilmore
loved.
Girls, which was very
A
last
plus
minute thrown
plus,
together
A plus
costume.
plus.
Not the first time we've done that costume as a couple, not the last time.
Yeah.
And but we don't really get a whole lot of trick-or-treaters where we are because we're
Oh,
kind of in the boonies, and so
yeah.
we're gonna go downtown and do trunk or treat.
Oh, fun.
And also I can't bring kids in a weird age, like
Yeah.
she's 10 months. I can't go to people's houses. I look like I'm begging for candy
Yeah,
using my
that's
infant.
fair.
Like I can't, it's just weird. So
Yeah.
we're gonna do trunk or treat downtown and
Okay.
she's going to be Kit the American Girl doll
Oh,
because it's the
yes.
best. She already has the dress, she already has the sweater. I bought her a hat,
Wow. I
It's
can't
right
wait for
there.
those photos.
It's right there for you.
I need them to be sent to me expeditiously on
Don't
Friday.
overthink it, right?
Yes.
So yeah, she's gonna be Kit. The
That's
American Girl doll,
fantastic.
which would be exciting. There's no matching costume for Jake or I. I think Jake's kind of upset about that. I think he was like, I want to do a matching thing. And it's like, well, we kind of already did that. So I don't know. It's weird. Next year, I think will be more fun.
Yeah.
When she's a little bit older, we could take her trick-or-treating. She can actually eat the candy. And yeah, maybe. Can 2 year olds eat
Yeah.
candy? She's almost two. She can eat some
I
candy.
don't know.
Mostly be for me, but that's fine.
Yeah, that'll be fine.
Yeah. What's Trevor gonna be?
Trevor doesn't love Halloween costumes, which it
Gee.
doesn't make sense to me because he
Why
wears
not?
sweaters all the time. And I just get him costumes that are pretty much just sweaters. I got him one year to be Stitch,
Yeah, that one
um,
was cute.
and he just didn't move. Like he put it on him and he froze and he didn't move for like an hour
Is it
until I
like a
took it off
full
him.
body dog costume or is it just like a sweater?
It's like a sweater with a hood.
Oh, well, the hood probably freaked him out.
Whatever. Weak. Anyway, and then last year I
Tell him
got
Trevor
him
you
a
call him
chop because
weak.
he's sitting at my feet right now. So I told him that's why I looked up like that because he's right at my feet. Um, and then I got him a lamb chop because that's his favorite toy. So I
Mm,
got him a lamb chop costume and didn't love that either. Pictures were fantastic, but he didn't love it. But he's just going to be putting that again probably. But I also have like a bandana for him. It's like Halloweeny
cute,
that I could just put on him and call it a day.
cute.
But try to save him from some trauma. It's like you gotta pick and choose your battles. I don't know if Halloween is the one I really want to go. At least not this year. Maybe
No, you
next
gotta
year.
save that Argyle sweater for Christmas, you know? You
Yeah,
gotta really bank it.
exactly. Exactly.
Well, should we dive in?
All right. Yes, we should. So, for our last episode of season 3, I mean, it's funny because all of our listeners probably already know, but just in case that the news that this pod travels, which, I hope and
Yeah,
also
fingers
am
crossed.
petrified about, but whatever, I hope happens. Something, a fun fact, fun fact, life update. That's probably better than a
You're
fun
really
fact.
stalling. You're
I
really
know.
stalling.
I know. I'm so nervous. I haven't have to say this again in a very long since for a couple months. Anyway, I'm pregnant. Yay. Yay. So crazy. So if I have sounded out of breath on the podcast this season, if
Too, but you're like,
intelligent,
why is Jill rocking?
yeah,
Like,
right. My uncle said that I was getting him motion sickness, so I have now put the glider up. Like the legs are up, so I can't rock.
there you go.
So there you go, everyone. I'm very sorry, but I was just trying not to puke. And yeah, so it has been quite the journey. And um, so I knew this pod was coming at some point, but it's because for, longtime listeners, this has been a 4-year
Mhm.
journey, to say the least. It's dealing with other health issues and infertility stuff and all that. Um, and talk about what Catholic school didn't teach you.
Mm.
I feel like in school they made it seem like you like sneeze on a boy and you get pregnant. Like you just
That's how
can't
it
do
works.
it.
Yep. Actually,
Yeah,
that is
like
how it works. Yeah.
literally. And I'm like over here like, why isn't this working for me? I'm sneezing all over the place. So the journey of being pregnant after facing all of, infertility and all this health stuff has been hard. And I hope that this episode can be a source of hope, comfort, for people who maybe are in the same boat, either they're currently pregnant or trying to get pregnant or feel like it'll never happen for them,
Mm.
that my story can be one of hope for someone because I didn't realize how much I lost hope and
Mm.
how like truly, truly depressed I was until I got pregnant and accepted that it was like actually happening
Mhm.
and was like, wow, so like I've really been unwell for quite some time because if this is what joy feels like, I haven't felt this in years.
Mm.
Um, so yeah, I just wanted to throw that out there for people. And before we get into it, I'm not a medical professional. I've had to do a lot of research on my own because I was left to like fend for myself pretty much.
Hmm.
So take what I say with a grain of salt. I'm not giving out medical advice, but I'm more want to talk about the spiritual journey that I
Hmm.
went through and the mental journey. Because that was the toughest part, honestly. I mean, like I was going at one point was doing blood draws I was called it blood work palooza, and I was getting blood work every other day
Hmm.
for 2 weeks straight to like try to track my hormone levels. And like I could take that any day of the week compared to like the mental instability that has been
Hmm.
this whole journey. Excuse me. So,
Yeah, and
and
maybe if you're not ready, take care while listening to this.
yes, yes, please. Absolutely. Absolutely. But so like I won't go into like the whole thing because there's another pod that we put out in season one that was
Hmm.
talked about faith in the face of illness. So if you want to know like the whole journey, the first part, you can listen to that. But I say that this was a 4 year endeavor because that was when I first found out that I had PCOS,
Hmm.
and the first that I heard that that would be a deterrent from me getting pregnant, to the point where I went to 6 different doctors and they all said that if whatever I was facing didn't get better, I would never have kids. So even though we weren't like actually trying at that point, that's when the fear began.
Hmm.
But like the actively trying to get pregnant has been the last 2.5 years, like 2.5 years. Um, and at one point, I got the gastric buzz. So like, long story short, had to end up getting gastric bypass surgery because my insulin levels were so high, and that was causing me to. I didn't have a period for over a year. I gained like 100 pounds. It was a wild. So I got the surgery, and everything was good, but I still didn't have progesterone and estrogen in my body. Like it was literally negative. So I worked with a doctor who I was recommended from the New York one that helped me finally recommend because they stopped seeing people from out of state,
Hmm.
unfortunately. So I had to go to the filling one, and the filling one was horrific.
Hmm.
And they were trying to help me figure all this out. And they were terrible. Was with them for a year. So like first nugget of advice, don't be afraid to switch doctors, okay?
Hmm.
If your doctor is not serving you, no matter how long you've been there, no matter how much you've invested in them, if you feel in your gut that something's not right, switch doctors. And I know it can be scary, and I know like it's hard to like make that leap, but I wasted too much time with this person because I was like, maybe the next thing will be the thing,
Hmm.
and it wasn't. So, I even had this doctor literally say to me that, so after like the third round of blood work palooza failed, and we did like, I had to do HCG injection, so like the hormone that tells your body that you're pregnant
Hmm.
was injected into me to make my body think that I was pregnant, to make those hormones, and it didn't work. The doctor said to me, that this was, and I started crying in the office. She said to me that this was necessary suffering for my future family and that I just needed to give it to God, like in the middle of my appointment. And which wasn't helpful. This was a Catholic doctor, by the way. Um, and I should have left then, but I stayed for another 4.5 months after that one. And then my husband had come with me to one of the appointments, and she said, like, something along the lines of, then maybe God just doesn't want you to be a mother.
Hmm.
And that's when he was like, we're out. Like, we are done with you. And then finally found the second doctor, and that's when everything got so much better. So don't be afraid to switch a doctor.
Hmm.
Um,
Especially
and
if they're saying those kinds of things to
right,
you.
yes. Like, okay, because spiritually speaking, this was the one, besides like the loss of my grandparents, this was the hardest time I've ever
Hmm.
had in my faith. If you like look back on a lot of our episodes, or just like, you know, if you know me personally, this, like I've said before on the podcast, I had my image of God was one of protector, and I felt very unprotected. I felt
Hmm.
like I was being thrown out into the wolves, and was mad with
Hmm.
God, mad. Because the other thing is that it's with infertility, it's such a weird, you have to live in the gray. You have to be okay with the paradox of emotions that you feel on a daily basis. when another one of your close friends or family members tell you that they're pregnant, feeling so incredibly happy for them, and at the same time feeling so incredibly upset for yourself,
Hmm.
and allowing both of those things to exist at the same time without judging yourself for feeling the negative part. Um, that was one of the hardest parts, especially when people are like, "Oh, we weren't even trying." And it's like then I hear from a doctor that I'm not supposed that like this is God doesn't want me to be a mom. And I'm like, "So what did I do? What
Mm.
have I done to that you don't want this for me? Like
Yeah.
I've dedicated my life to serving you. Why why don't you want this? What am I missing? Like what
Hmm.
do I have to heal? What do I have to forgive? Like what am I doing wrong? Am I not praying? And we talked about this a lot on the pod too. Like there's no such thing as a perfect prayer life, and you know, there's no it's just crazy what your brain allows
Yeah,
you
because that's
to
not how God
think.
operates. God doesn't operate with the whole like you're not doing enough, but that's how we operate.
Right. Exactly. And it was debilitating for a really long time. And so now that I was going to this new doctor, which again, even talking because it was a fertility doctor. So like we were going down the road of IUI, and then if that didn't work, IVF. Um, and also the church has all other
Hmm.
slew of opinions about that as well. So, like gearing up for that and, looking back, there were so many signs that God was with me on this journey. And now that I see it from like now that it's actually happened to me, and I can understand like, if it happened a year ago, the place that I was in mentally,
Hmm.
emotionally, physically, like in our actual home or in the job that I was in, would have been horrible. It would have been a horrible, horrible. I mean, it would have been great. Don't get me wrong. I would have
Hmm.
loved to not have to go through the rest of the stuff, but I don't think I would be at peace that I'm at now
Hmm.
if it would have happened then. I can understand the process more now, like in hindsight. Um, but just like little ways where, like when we were at Disney, of course, all roads lead back to Disney. When we were at Disney, last September, I had to fill out doctor forms for the new doctor, and it like I didn't realize I had like a time crunch on it, so I just like filled it out really quick, and I was like, I wonder if I still have the picture from Pirates of the Caribbean ride, and you could see it in my face. I'm just like deadpan, like I'm just so annoyed that like the depression and the outside stress has infiltrated the Disney bubble because at
Hmm.
Disney none of this existed. Um, and I'm just like dead face and I'm just like really just so upset. And we were walking from Pirates of the Caribbean over to our next ride, which was Space Mountain. So if you know anything about Disney, you have to walk through Fantasyland to get there. And Fantasyland is where the carousel is.
Hmm.
So I'm in my Disney bubble, have my sunglasses on, just walking, and the carousel plays instrumental Disney music, and A Dream is a Wish Your Heart Makes comes on. And I'm just like, whatever. And I get caught up in the Disney like as I normally do. And then like I start singing this song. So again, if you don't know the lyrics to the song, um, the part that it was at was like have faith in your dreams and someday your rainbow will come smiling through. No matter how your heart is grieving, if you keep on believing, the dream you wish will come true. And I just felt like in that moment, God was telling me that's going to be fine. And
Hmm.
like completely lost it at that point. So like little moments like that have like helped me through those. I mean, it was fleeting, unfortunately, but um things like that were like little God winks that like renewed the strength that I needed at that point. Um and because it could feel very isolating when you're going through it, especially if like I don't really know if I don't want to say that it's a blessing that know other people or have friends and family that all were going through it at the same time.
Hmm.
So I had them to lean on, but also don't want to be overbearing. So like I looked to a lot of social media platforms and found a lot of connection and um, just feeling less alone through a lot of these like infertility groups that I was part of online, which were like really, really helpful. I highly recommend doing that too, because sometimes it's just nice to talk to someone who has no idea about what's going on in your life, that
Hmm.
just like knows the struggle and you can just like leave it at that. Um, so that was really helpful. Um, but then it's like a very, like, it's always explained as like a very unfortunate club to be part of,
Hmm.
but one that's very supportive and um, understanding, because we all know what it's like to be in that situation, to like see negative tests every single month roll around, and to have another thing that you like a test that was supposed to be the thing that worked and it didn't.
Hmm.
Um, but eventually, so it got to the point where it was we were going to start, we did all our testing. I got all like my um uterus and like tubes like cleared out with dye and like some very uncomfortable test. Um, and then we were a week from starting IUI, which is like if you ever seen Jane the Virgin, that's like artificial insemination, which is what happened in Jane the Virgin. Um, so we were literally a week away from starting it and ended up getting pregnant through the grace of God. So, which was the most insane day. Like I just had a really bad stomach ache and I was like, this is so weird. Like I don't understand. And I just get so accustomed to, because I'm like weird with taking pills, like it just makes me nervous. So I would always take a pregnancy test before I would take any pills that you shouldn't take when you were pregnant, just to be safe. I would always do it, and the answer would always be no. So I just was doing it out of habit and was just like, and I always would record it just in case, you know. And I didn't even like wait the full minute. I didn't say, usually I do like the whole like, no matter what, it's gonna be fine, you know, like talk my give myself the pep talk. Didn't even do it. Didn't even finish the pep talk. I just pulled it out of the thing and it was positive. And I hit the floor, first of all. And I was like, there's no way. Like, there's absolutely no way. Um, and then I take like five more to be safe. And then I call up my husband and tell him, and we're just like beside ourselves. Um, and oh, to go back even further, that same doctor that said that, you know, that God didn't want me to be a mom and all that other stuff, also said that because my progesterone levels were so low, even if for some miracle I got pregnant, the pregnancy would never last. Like
Hmm.
the baby would not survive. Um, so with that in my head, I'm both excited and terrified
Hmm.
because I know my progesterone is low. I don't have progesterone in the house to take, and it was after 5 o'clock, so the doctor was closed. So I wish I had a recording of the message I left her. I'm like, I'm like, pregnant. What do I do? And it was a Tuesday, so I was about to film the pod with Katie, and so like I'm telling Rich, I'm like, all right, I'm not gonna tell her. I'm not gonna tell her. Like it's too soon. And then like like 2 minutes before I go out to him. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna tell her. It's like I'm just gonna tell Katie. He was like, it's fine. So Katie was the first one that I told. So we actually got to tell each other in the same way.
Yeah, we
Like
did.
we used the pod as soon as
We have
the
recordings of each
record.
of us. Yeah.
Yes.
Like
So
almost a
then
year apart.
yeah. Yeah, which is so incredible. And I just held up the test and started like wailing. Just like trying to I don't even know if my story was audible at the time, if you could even understand what I was saying, but I was just
The
weeping.
test gave it away. I figured it
Yeah.
out.
Yeah.
I didn't say a word for about 10 minutes. So
Oh man. Yeah, that was so
that
funny. And I
answers
was
the question of whether you're going to fight, flight, or freeze, I guess.
yeah, yeah. Oh Lord. It was great. It was fantastic. And yeah, but so because of all of the things that we had experienced in the past with the past doctors, Rich and I were terrified.
Hmm.
And we were just so grateful to have Katie and Jake to, because I think Jake overheard my sobbing, so like he also
Yeah,
knew.
he put it together too.
Yeah,
That's pretty.
it wasn't quite hard to figure out at that point. So it was just really great that we had someone to
Yeah, when
talk
I
to about
started
this.
sobbing, Jake kind of put two and two together. Yeah.
Yeah. Um, and so like the next day I just like woke up at like 5 a.m. and just drove myself to the fertility clinic and sat in the parking lot until they opened and then called them and was like, I don't know if you got my message, but I'm pregnant and I need you to do the tests and give me the progesterone, all that stuff. They're like, okay, great. Like we could fit you in like 15 minutes. Is that too late? I'm like, I'm in the parking lot. They're like, oh, cool. So I go in and get all the tests and like as we know, like I was pregnant, my progesterone was very low. And they just gave me progesterone
Hmm.
and it was an easy fix. It was an easy like the previous doctor made it sound like it was a death sentence.
Yeah.
So other thing is that if you have that issue, it's not as for at least there's a potential that it's not as horrific as they make it sound.
Hmm.
That you can take this progesterone. No, you only need to take it until the placenta forms, and then you're done with
Hmm.
it. So like it's not, there is hope. There is hope. So if that's something that you've been dealing with, just know that. But it was really hard in the beginning. Like Rich and I just didn't speak about it for like 2 weeks. Like
Hmm.
we just like didn't acknowledge it. We speak about it. We didn't tell anybody
Hmm.
because we were petrified. We were so afraid to get to feel the joy of this
Hmm.
for it to not happen. So like it took a very, very long time for us to like really even come around to like feeling the joy of this miracle. But eventually we finally told our parents at Easter and told people like we waited until after 12 weeks because I was petrified. But we told family at Easter because like I was like, regardless, we're gonna need prayers and support. So like at least
Hmm.
I'm gonna tell my immediate family and Rich's immediate family, and then we'll go from there. But what's really hard is then I was a part of this group with so much support and then I don't want this to sound like I'm not grateful or to sound like this like what my brain compared it to or to make sense of it makes light of that. But just from like my experience, it felt like survivor's guilt. It felt
Hmm.
like there are so many people that are so deserving and have gone through worse. Like even in the scheme of like grand scheme of infertility, like I got lucky. I got
Hmm.
really lucky and feeling like I was not severe enough of a case to fit with that group that has gotten me through the last 2.5 years,
Hmm.
but then feeling unworthy of actually getting pregnant. Like, why me? Why
Hmm.
me? Like, everyone else also is so deserving to have a kid. And why did this happen to me and not them? And
Hmm.
and it's still something I struggle with a lot because I still don't get it. Like I still
Hmm.
don't understand this whole entire process. Like, it just doesn't make sense to me. Um, but it was really hard and I felt like really alone for a while because like I just didn't know where I fit. But I also felt like I couldn't say anything to anybody about it or anything negative that I felt or any like symptom that I was like struggling with because this is what I begged God for years
Hmm.
and it finally happened and there's people who are begging have been begging God for years and they still don't have it. So I can't be anything but grateful and
Hmm.
happy or else I'm doing a disservice to this miracle that I've been given.
Hmm.
And I put so much pressure on myself to feel just plain joy. But yet I was so scared. I was so confused because I just always thought about trying to get pregnant. Once I got pregnant, I'm like, what the heck do I do now? Like,
Yeah.
like I didn't know
Yeah.
what to do, like what to expect or anything. Like I was not prepared. I was
Yeah.
not because then in my brain, I got to the point where like obviously we talk to like I talk about my dog all the time and like, I get made fun of all the time for how much I love him. But what people don't understand is like I got to the point where I accepted that Trevor was all I was going to have.
Hmm.
Like that was the only type of kid or like parenting relationship I was going to have was going to be of a dog. So if that was all I was getting, I was putting everything that I had into it. So think about that before you make fun of someone who like really loves their dog because you don't know the backstory behind it. And I have no regrets about that, and I still feel that I still love him, and he has saved me multiple times over the
Hmm.
last year, last couple of years. Um, like the best little man in the whole world. Um, and so yeah, so that has also just been really difficult.
Hmm.
And I know even though like this has not been your experience, but If I've learned anything from the last 4 years, and I know you can attest to this now, just being a mom for a year, especially for people, even if you haven't gone through infertility, but are like in the dating world, and maybe you're older and you haven't found your person, and you're just like, I need to find my person. So you just like settle.
Hmm.
Don't. Like the person you marry and the person who you choose to have children with is the
Oof.
most important decision of your
I could
life.
do a whole podcast just on that. I
Yeah.
mean,
Honestly, probably season 4, we should
nothing
because
highlights the person you marry like um going through something like you're talking about, Jilly,
Mhm.
or even, when my daughter was born and we had those
Right.
complications, it was like,
Mm-hmm.
oh, thank God I married this man.
Mm-hmm.
Thank
Yeah.
God I married this man.
Yeah. Yeah. Because like and it was funny because I was talking about this at work the other day about like the honeymoon phase of
Hmm.
like either priesthood or your your vocation or like or marriage. Yeah, the honeymoon phase is cute. Yeah, maybe the person you want the guy's cute. Okay, or the girl's cute. Whoever you're into, they are cute. That stuff is so not important in the grand scheme of things. The honeymoon phase is great. Yeah, we love having fun, but it's when life hits the fan and you're at your lowest point, you need the person next to you to be in it with you 100%.
Hmm.
In faith, in love, in relationship, in trust, because if you don't have, I literally, Rich and I just did a little baby moon in Hershey over the weekend just for
Oh,
a night.
fun. I
Um,
didn't know that.
yeah, I had so much Mr. Good bars. I ate every Mr. Good bar on Hershey's campus. And Rich is allergic to nuts. And I was like, too bad. That's what I want.
Get a different room.
Whatever. Yep. Here we are. But anyway, and I was like just talking to him about it. Like, I was the worst version of myself the last 4 years.
Hmm.
No doubt about it. Was the worst version of myself. I mean, from the lack of hormones, from the weight
Yeah,
gain,
I mean,
from the vocations.
you're
Yeah, I didn't even recognize myself, let alone be able to show up for him. Like there were times where like, we took turns where we were the ones like going like really going through it, but I was in the driver's seat of that bus
hmm
for the last 4 years, hands
hmm
down, hands down. And he could have left. There
Yeah.
were so many times that I told him I wouldn't even blame you if you walked out that door and never talked to me again. Like I truly don't blame you
Mm.
if that's what you want to do. And like broke down like in many of the conversations of like even talking to him was hard because I didn't know any of these issues I had until after we got married. So
Hmm.
I felt like I tricked him into
Hmm.
marrying me. That like if he knew this whole picture beforehand, there's who would want to choose this life? I don't want to choose this life, let alone having another person who's because his freaking bill of health was always 100% fantastic. I was the only problem
Yeah. It's the
out of
worst.
the two of us. He passed every test with flying colors, and I failed every test with flying colors. So like it was all me. And like he would never say that or think that, but like when you're the problem,
Hmm.
that's all you think about. And I bamboozled him. I bamboozled him into
Hmm.
marrying me. And then I became a raging psycho and gained 1 million pounds. And like, what? I don't know. This was not the life that I promised him. It wasn't.
Right.
And, but like, that's life. That's
Hmm.
life. Like,
Yeah.
it's rarely ever. The honeymoon phase only lasts I don't think we ever had one, to be honest. I think the honeymoon phase lasted 10 minutes and then life hit. I mean, well, because we had COVID. So honestly, probably I'm going back to my original statement. We never had a honeymoon phase. But like, it's all been in joy in some ways. Like getting through all of this, like as long as I have him, like we have each other,
Hmm.
that is like the greatest gift God's ever given me
Hmm.
was him. And like, I'm so excited to see him. I'm gonna cry again.
He's gonna
So
be the
excited
best dad.
for him to be like,
He's
I'm
gonna be
having
the
a
best
girl,
dad.
which I don't think I said yet. And like, he's gonna be the best girl dad and the best husband. Like, he already is. And like, he's a saint for dealing with
You
me.
can't
Like,
cry because I'm gonna cry.
I've done a really good job holding it together. So
You have.
I have. And I've been crying so much lately. I saw a video this morning of a dog. It was in a
Hmm.
dog park, and another dog ran over him and took his ball. And the dog was so sad. And there was no follow-up video. I don't know if the dog got his ball back. Thinking about it all day. Poor dog.
So in it right now, buddy.
Oh, his poor tennis ball. He was looking around. He was so sad.
You can't think about it. You gotta move on,
I
bud. You
know.
keep
Okay,
getting
okay.
well on the tennis ball.
Anyway, anywho, um, so super grateful for him. And then another thing that happened in the pregnancy was that I was diagnosed with something called a velamentous cord insertion.
Hmm.
So this happens to 1% of pregnancies, so of course.
Of course.
And normally IVF pregnancies. So like LOL. Um, but it's like so when you have when the baby has the placenta and the the umbilical cord is supposed to go in the middle of the placenta, and mine is on the very end of it.
I didn't even know there
So
was a middle of the placenta. I thought it was just
it's like a
a more
giant disc.
thick blob of an
Yeah.
organ.
Yeah, no, and the pen of that thing is huge, like a dinner plate size. And I'm
Oh yeah.
like, yeah. So mine is connected to the side, and because of that, there's like the goo. There's like a term, but again, no doctor. There's the
The goo.
goo, the goo that goes around it that like protects the like nerve endings and stuff because of where it's inserted is exposed.
Mm.
So they were like, "Oh yeah, so like there's a chance that like she doesn't grow correctly. There's a chance that you could like hemorrhage out and like there's a chance of like I'm like what? Like they just like drop this on me at the anatomy scan
Hmm.
and are just like, we'll see. So now you're high risk. You're gonna have all these appointments. We'll see you back in 4 weeks. And it was like, excuse me?
Okay.
Like, so if you have this, if you've been diagnosed with a filamentous cord insertion, number one rule, do not Google it.
Don't do it.
Oh my Lanta.
Don't do it.
Do not Google it. There is nothing good out there on
No.
Google to help you. It makes it 10 times worse. Um, but then also felt like I did saying this, admitting this out loud is tough, but we're gonna do it because I'm just, being honest. I felt like no, I don't, and maybe not that I deserved it, but like
Mm.
it because I already felt so guilty for being pregnant, I was like, I don't deserve a pregnancy that goes smoothly. Like
Hmm.
something had to go wrong. Like there had to be something catastrophic to be like, yes, well, I got pregnant, but it's not great. So
Hmm.
like don't worry, I'm still relevant in like the community of like of the struggle because
Hmm.
it's not perfect. And like that sounds saying it out loud makes me sad for myself, but that's truly how I thought at the time. But then also feeling super betrayed by my body again because like can I do anything right? Can my body just like 1% of pregnancies like what is going on? That I can't even just do this one part right. Like
Hmm.
this is wild. Um, but yeah, so that was a tough one. But now I am will be 20, excuse me. Let's not backtrack here.
Nope.
I will be 35 weeks
Yeah.
once this comes out, and I'm very happy to report that she is living her best life. She is 5 pounds.
Thriving.
They have this issue has caused like she has not like she's in the 53rd percentile right now. She hasn't suffered any like loss of growth or any of those things. And like they're like, I don't see why you can't have like a vaginal delivery, but like I'm going into labor with zero expectation.
Hmm.
Like my only goal is for her and me to survive.
Yep.
And whatever I need to do to get to that, whether that's like they're like no epidural for you and you have to stand under your head for 5 days. All right, let's do it because I will do whatever is necessary
Hmm.
to make us both come out of this. Mostly her. I don't really care what happens to me. I really just want her to live. So that's my only God, that's all I'm asking for. But like I would love that too, but really mostly for her. So I'm just trying to take it one day at a time, not really having much of a birth plan other than get there, have her, and eat sushi in that order. So
I mean, yeah, that's legit.
that's all
You
I've
could
got.
certify that, yeah.
That's all I've got. So yeah. And it's been a time. It's been a time.
Hmm.
And I don't know how helpful all of this has been to kind of for anyone to hear. But again, I think spiritually, one of the songs that I just want to tell everyone about that um really that like I clinged onto. And I listened to it like all the way home on work at when I was coming home from work today, so I would hopefully not cry when I talked about it on the podcast. But then I cried about a dog, so who knows what will happen. But this is I don't know if I brought the song up on the podcast already, but there's a song called Runaway by
Oh
Jen.
yeah, you've mentioned that.
Yes, and this was the song that I listened to, especially after getting pregnant.
Hmm.
Um, and there's the like ending. They usually have the words on Spotify, and I'm trying to pull it up, but it's not showing it, which is rude. But at the end of so it's like the song talks about like she's singing from God's point of view. And it's like modeled after like the sheep, the like 999 sheep and the one that strays.
Hmm.
So like at the end of the song, um, she talks about pretty much. So at the end of so it's just the whole song is like about I know that you're like I can feel it that you're gonna leave, but no matter what you do, I'm not leaving you, pretty much is the whole premise of the song. But at the end it says, even if you stomp and scream and huff, tell me that I'm not good enough. I'll take every swing and every blow until you know my love. Even if you beat upon my chest, tell me that you don't understand. I will love you and teach you to love me again. And I
Hmm.
feel like that's what the last 8 months have been, that God has been teaching me to love God again
Hmm.
and to repair everything that, like that's what I did for the last 2.5 years was just scream and throw tantrums and be beefing with God and just found it really hard to go to church. And, through the grace of my husband and my friends and family that have walked through it with me and like have been my strength and hope when I lost all of it. Like God obviously works in God's ways, but also I think sent the people in my life that I have for this particular reason.
Hmm.
And I have found that these last few months have been me learning how to love God again and the patience that God has had with me, even when I know I didn't deserve it and when I was saying some not nice things to God. But God showed up and I mean never left, but I allowed myself to see it for the first time again.
Hmm.
And that has been the greatest gift. And so even for infertility or not, allowing yourself to, and we've talked about this on the pod already, but allowing yourself to go through, excuse me, any type of, anger or like period of time where you're struggling in your faith, to not let that feel like the end of the world. Like God is able to use these situations in our life for our good. And, my daughter will be that, my forever reminder of that,
Hmm.
of the hope and the joy and the love that is there if we allow God if we allow God
Hmm.
in to journeying with us, and she will forever be my reminder of hope. Um,
Hmm.
and I'm just so grateful for that. So that's my ramble
Thank you, Jill.
for
Thanks for sharing all that. And just uh just a thought. I've been, you know, lucky enough to be your friend for about 10 years now.
wild
Um, I've,
10 years.
been honored to stand beside you as you've gone through this whole journey. And um, you're very good about keeping us up to date and like involving your friends in your life. And
Mhm.
so knowing what you've been going through, your commitment to return to God every single time has been very inspiring I mean, your faith has always been inspiring to me, but for the last, 5 years watching you go through this and watching you be angry and still show up
Mhm.
and still let God show up and, still trust. And
Mhm.
even when you don't think that you're trusting God,
Mhm.
the fact that you haven't just renounced your faith at this point is like, I would have probably,
Mhm.
like, is an inspiration. And so, thank you for being my friend, but also just thank you for putting yourself first in that regard, right?
Hmm.
And trusting God in that and returning to God in that because
Hmm.
that's so difficult and would be justified, by earthly standards for
Hmm.
like, no, I'm done.
Thank you. I appreciate you. And it's so important to have your people and I know sometimes it's hard to want to lean on them because sometimes it could feel like so heavy and so dark and you don't want to
Hmm.
include people in that, but it's so important that you do.
Hmm.
Like when we were all together like a couple of months ago and we all were kind of like realized that we were all doing that for each other, like not really saying the things that we needed to say. And it's like, no,
Yeah.
this is why we're friends.
Hmm.
This is what it means to show up for other people. And I know it's especially when it comes to infertility, that was like one of the things that I really wanted to do is still, to the best of my ability, show up for other people because I didn't want my pain to have me miss out on all these moments in like the people's lives that I love the most
Hmm.
because I was hurting. And like sometimes you do have to know when you need to take that step back and maybe attending the shower or doing whatever isn't what's best for you in that moment. But
Hmm.
to make sure you continue to show up for people in the best ways that you can, but also giving yourself grace that like it's hard. We like I said before, really living in that gray area, but allowing yourself to feel those feelings without judgment
Hmm.
and just being honest and working through them. And it's hard, but hopefully you have the village in your life that you can lean on. And if you don't, reach out to me
Yeah, we'll be your village.
because yes. But yeah, but know that, whether or not I fit in that community or not anymore, I had to let go of that whole notion. But, you know, regardless of if I'm accepted into that or not, um, I I just know that you will like the TTC, the Trying to Conceive community will always be at the forefront of my prayers forever.
Hmm.
Um, and again, that there is hope, and it stinks. It is the worst pain in the world. It really truly is.
Hmm.
I don't wish that on anybody. But it's coming. I truly believe that. And I hope it's sooner rather than later for for you. But I hope that you know that you are loved and
Hmm.
prayed for, regardless of your situation. In talking about the communion of saints and how much, who longtime listeners will know how much we love and appreciate the communion of saints.
Hmm.
They have been a huge support and source of strength for me. I mean, obviously, the Blessed Mother will always has and always will have a huge impact in my life.
Hmm.
But the saint that had the most impact that I, really credit a lot of this to, is Saint Joseph. I, from Katie's recommendation, actually started praying in the novena to Saint Joseph, and I never stopped. Every ninth day, once it was over, the next day I would start again. Um, Doing that for Lent is what I did. So it was so funny because the day I found out I was pregnant was March 31st, so it was like the end of Lent.
Hmm.
Um, and so I was praying it over and over and over again. Because like he is helpful. Like we did I think we talked about in that episode there. He also is like the patron saint for like selling houses. So I was doing that because we were selling and buying our house, and then this, so he was like a double dip, and I was just like, you know, here we go, Saint Joseph. And then there we go. So St. Joseph was a huge strength for me. And then my aunt ended up getting me this like ginormous, it's like the size of my whole arm, sleeping St. Joseph, which I absolutely adore. So Pope Francis had one, and what he would say is that, you would put your prayers on, like write them down and put them under St. Joseph's pillow, and he would, intercede for you for those things. So now I have all of those.
Hmm.
So if you would like to be included under St. Joseph's pillow, send us a message and I will gladly put your prayer intention under St. Joseph's pillow. He's going pretty strong. I mean, he's gotten a couple of them already,
He's
that
gotten
I put
some.
in there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Still
Yeah.
missing a few. Still waiting on a couple, but he's got a lot. So, taking requests.
So yeah, Saint Joseph. But, um, some other, and it's who Jill said her novena too. It's some other saints. This is a long list, so buckle up. And this is in order of a feast day.
Okay.
So uh, if you're curious, I'm not gonna tell you the feast day. I'll just tell you the saint. So Saint Agnes, Saint Bridget of Kildare, Saint Colette, Saint Joseph, Saint Catherine of Sweden, Saint Gianna Beretta Molla, Saint Catherine of Siena, Saint Rita of Cascia, Saint Anthony of Padua, Saint Margaret of Antioch, Saint Anne and Saint Joachim. Those are Mary's parents.
Mm.
Saint Philomena, Saint Raymond Nonatus, Saint Gerard Magella, Saint Jude, Saint Elizabeth, Saint Felicitas of Rome, Saint Andrew, Saint Nicholas is specifically patron saint of infertile men.
Mm.
Interesting. Saint Hannah, Saint Eulalia, Our Lady of Guadalupe, Padre Pio, Archangel Gabriel, Saint Perpetua. I think
Mhm.
that is the end of the list.
Yeah. And also, I know my mom prayed for the intercession of, oh my gosh, what's his name? The new
Oh,
Carlo.
Saint Carlo Acutis.
Yes,
Hmm.
she thinks that it was his intercession that did it all. So we can add him to the list,
Now
whether
you
or
gotta
not.
name the baby Carla.
Yeah. Oh boy. But yeah, and it's honestly, and it's great because, for the listeners, I haven't posted a thing about this pregnancy on social media. And this will be I'm not even going to post this episode to my social media until after the baby's born, because I'm just very, because I not blame this on Nan, but I attribute it to Nan. The Maloik, the Italian, is the Italian version of the evil
Yeah, the
eye.
evil eye. Yeah.
And I mean, obviously just being scared just from like past trauma, but also just being scared of that too. So, um, but yeah, so now you're clued into a big part of my life that a lot of people don't know. So handle that with care and keep us in your prayers,
Yeah.
please. And I'll
Of
let the pod know when the princess arrives.
the princess. So to close this out, we're gonna say a prayer from the United States Catholic Conference of Bishops. Sorry, Conference of Catholic Bishops. I couldn't pick just one saint. I just listed like 20.
Yeah.
Prayer for those hoping to conceive
Hmm.
or adopt a child. God, our Creator, by your love, the world is filled with life. Through your generosity, one generation gives life to another, and so are your wonders told and your praises sung. We look to you in our love and in our need. May it be your will that we bear or adopt a child to share our love, home, and faith. Loving God, be close to us as we pray to love and do your will. You are our God, nourishing us forever and ever. Amen.
Amen.
Son,
Yeah.
Holy Spirit, amen. Well, thank you all for listening to season 3 of The
Yes.
Catholic School Didn't Teach You.
God bless.
Ooh, that was a big one. Uh, Send us an email at catholicschoolgirls@gmail.com. Uh, Follow us on Instagram at what Catholic School didn't teach you _pod. And rate, review, subscribe on Apple Podcasts. That really helps us. We will let you know when we're coming back.
Yes.
Jill's got some important work to do coming up, and we will decide TBD on the return date. But
Right.
nevertheless, we'll be returning for season 4.
Yes, absolutely. So yeah.
All right. Well, thanks for listening.
Yeah. Happy New Year. Merry Christmas. Happy Thanksgiving.
St. Colette, pray for us,
Yep.
and we'll see you soon.
Yes. Bye.
Bye.